Hi, my name is Aaliyah Lopez, and my capstone is on a program manual supporting caregivers of individuals with cerebral palsy, educational resources, coping skills, and mental health. Throughout the presentation, we'll go over basic topics on cerebral palsy, the aim and objective of the capstone presentation, the methods, the results, program manual awareness, conclusion, limitations, and recommendations. Cerebral palsy is a neurological disorder that affects a person's ability to move and maintain posture and balance. It is caused by abnormal and damaged brain development, which affects muscle and control coordination. There are 3 different types of cerebral palsy. Spastic, which affects an individual's ankle muscles, which causes problems in functional skills, mobility, and balance. There are 3 types of spastic. Spastic dysplasia, which is stiffness in the muscles within the legs and the hips. Spastic hyplasia, which affects the arms, causing stiffness in one side of the body. And spastic quadriplegia, which is a more severe type of cerebral palsy, which affects the legs and arms, trunk, and the face. Another form of cerebral palsy is dyskinetic, which affects movement of hands, arms, legs, and feet. These individuals normally have trouble sitting and walking. Ataxia, which affects balance and coordination, and they have a hard time writing and walking. Caregivers often prioritize the needs of others over their own, leading to emotional exhaustion, anxiety, depression, and physical fatigue, which eventually leads to burnout. Caregivers face a range of stressors, including medical costs, time constraints, and caregiving duties that impact their social life, employment, and well-being. Many caregivers may not notice signs of burnout, such as irritability, sleep issues, fatigue, and loss of motivation, which further impacts their ability to provide quality care. Physicians frequently miss caregivers' burden. Risk factors include being female, cohabiting with the care recipient, low income or education, and lacking a choice in assuming the caregiver role. Positive coping mechanisms such as mindfulness, therapy, and time management help prevent burnout. Support groups, respite care, and educational tools improve both caregivers and patient outcomes. The Caregiver Program Manual was created to support caregivers of individuals with cerebral palsy by providing them with the knowledge and tools they need to care for others, while also taking care of themselves. This manual is structured into 3 main sections. The first part gives an overview of cerebral palsy and the different types of diagnosis. Understanding the conditions is essential for caregivers to feel more confident and capable in providing care. The second section focuses on mental health challenges that caregivers often face. These can range from chronic stress and anxiety to feeling of isolation and emotional exhaustion. By highlighting these experiences, the manual helps caregivers recognize the signs of burnout and understand that they are not alone. And finally, the third part offers a range of coping strategies to help caregivers manage their responsibilities more effectively. This includes time management techniques, stress relief practices like mindfulness and counseling, and connecting with community and educational resources. The Caregiver Manual is designed to address the emotional, physical, and psychological stressors that are associated with caregivers of individuals with cerebral palsy. This helps to detect early signs of burnout, such as fatigue, lack of motivation, and irritability. I obtained data by interviewing 2 CP Extension Organization participants to gather information on the needs of an individual with cerebral palsy. I also obtained data through peer-reviewed articles on caregiver strains and lack of resources available for caregivers. The goal is to bring awareness to caregivers and the available resources such as support groups, time management, mindfulness, guidance, and therapy. The caregiver process model serves as the framework for creating the caregiver program manual. This model helps explain why some caregivers experience high stress and burnout while others are able to manage caregiving more effectively. It breaks down caregiving into three main areas: background factors, stressors, and outcomes. Background factors include socioeconomic status, family roles, and previous caregiving experience or coping skills. These influences how a caregiver responds to stress. Stressors are categorized into two levels: primary stressors, which includes the direct responsibilities of a caregiver, such as daily tasks, managing medical needs, and addressing behavioral changes. Secondary stressors are more indirect, like financial strains and lost personal time. When these stresses become unmanageable, it can lead to emotional outcomes like burnout and depression. Moderating factors can help reduce these effects by offering coping strategies, education, and access to supportive resources. The manifestations of consequences of burnout declared graph shows the most common symptoms associated with caregiver burnout. The most frequently reported symptoms were fatigue at 90%, lack of satisfaction at 85.6%, and irritability at 75.6%. Some less common factors were lack of concentration, appetite trouble, and palpitations. These results show how burnout affects caregivers on multiple levels, emotionally, physically, and psychologically. The program manual helps as a guide in reducing caregiver burden by providing educational and coping strategies. These tools help caregivers recognize and manage stress, leading to improving mental health outcomes over time. By educating caregivers on stress management and offering access to care, such as counseling, helps to empower caregivers to take care of themselves and their responsibilities without compromising their responsibilities. This helps in reducing long-term emotional, physical, and psychological strains. Implementing supportive strategies not only addresses immediate caregiver stress, but also promotes mental wellness. The program manual provides supportive, healthier coping skills, better care, and improved quality of life for both the caregivers and the care recipients. A limitation that was experienced was the short time for the fieldwork and the low resources, being that my fieldwork organization, CP Extension, was small. It limited the access to direct caregivers, which also limited the ability to obtain first-hand experiences from caregivers related to caregiver burnout and stressors. Some recommendations would be to expand access to mental health services for caregivers through healthcare policies that offer free or low-cost counseling, therapy, and wellness programs. By creating these services within community health centers across New York City, would provide support to caregivers of individuals with cerebral palsy. In conclusion, the program manual is a guide in addressing caregiver burnout and stress, emphasizing the need for mental health support and advocacy. Thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation. I hope it offered meaningful insight into the importance of supporting caregivers' mental health. Your attention and interest was truly appreciated.